Hey guys, Chris from Hockey Tutorial here, and today in this video we're going to be taking a look at 5 things that every single hockey player should know about hockey skates before they buy. Now, whether you're new to the game and you're buying your first pair, or you've been playing for a while and you're just replacing a pair of skates, this is still a video that you need to watch because it doesn't matter what your experience is in the game, the equipment world is forever changing. And the more information you know about the equipment, the better decisions you can make when you're buying your gear. Now, to start this video off, the first point, and easily the most important point that you need to consider when you're buying a pair of skates, and that's the fit. Now, the appearance of the skate, even though a lot of players do base their choices on which skates they buy based on the way that they look, that has absolutely zero impact on your performance on the ice. Whereas buying a skate that fits your feet correctly and offers you comfort and support on the ice is definitely going to go towards your performance. When we look at the two leading manufacturers in hockey, CCM and Bauer, both of these manufacturers have 3 different lines of skates, often referred to as fit families. The idea behind having 3 different lines of skates is that each of these lines is constructed to fit a different type of feet. And the idea behind having 3 is that they're able to offer a fit solution for almost every single player in the world. There are some exceptions, but we'll come to that later on in the video. So in other words, one of these 3 lines of skates, either from CCM or Bauer, will fit your feet better than the other 2 options that they offer. The only real way you're going to be able to figure out which one of these lines of skates is going to be the best option for you is to try them on. I know this isn't always possible, but we're going to offer a couple of solutions like how to size your skates from home if you don't have access to a hockey store or you live in a country that there isn't a hockey store at all. So on the subject of fit, understanding the differences between with Bauer, the Nixus Supreme and Vapor line, and with CCM, the Jet Speed, Ripcore and Super Tax line. It's important to understand the different types of features and fits that these skates offer, so you're able to make the best decision on which one of them is going to be the best for you. Now, taking a look at the example of a foot, the 2 elements that come to mind when we think about sizing is going to be the length of the foot, so if you're a size 6.5 or a 7.5, and also the width, because skates also come in different widths. D, which is considered quite a standard fit, all the way up to E and double E, which is considered quite a wide fit. So as an example, if you and your friend are both a size 8, and you both have the same width, which is a D, and you use a vapor skate, in this case, say the 1X, you may find that your friend may not be able to fit in the 1X. And if you're wondering why, even though you're the same size, it's because when you're looking at skate sizes, especially for manufacturers when they're creating the different lines we have in front of us, there are a few other elements that come into play. That's going to be the forefoot, the instep, the heel, and also the ankle. So when you look at a Nixus Supreme and a Vapor skate, even though they're all the same size and the same width, these are the different elements and areas that have been changed or adapted as you go through the different ranges of Bauer skates that are available. So although you and your friend might have the same size and might have the same width, because your forefoot and instep might be much lower, in other words, you need a skate that has low volume to be able to offer you a nice snug fit, but your friend might have a high instep and a high forefoot area, which means that the skate that they use needs to have high volume to be able to wrap around those areas properly and offer them the correct comfort and the correct fit and support. But that's the reason going into a store, trying on the skates before you buy them is so important to do. So a quick breakdown of the skates we have in front of us, starting off with Bauer's Vapor range. Now this is considered to have low volume. From there, looking at their Supreme skate, which is considered to have medium volume. And lastly, with their Nixus skate, which has high volume. When we look over at CCM's line of skates, starting off with the Jet Speed, that has a low to medium volume. From there, the Super Tax, which has a medium volume. And lastly, with the Ripcore line of skates, which is low volume, but a flexible skate construction. In other words, that means that the skate's construction is adaptable. So whether you have a very narrow foot or a wide foot, the skate's construction is able to adapt to the type of foot that you have, offering you a much better fit. Now, this is a bit of an unusual style of skate construction, and is something that we have only ever seen in the Ripcore range from CCM. Now, these are some of the elements that really need to be considered when you're trying to decide between the different lines of skates that these 2 manufacturers offer. Moving on from there, it's going to be some of the words or terminology used in hockey skates. Now, when you hear the term volume, this relates to the amount of 3-dimensional space within a certain area. In this instance, it may pertain to the forefoot and instep of the skate, or even perhaps the heel. This, in other words, is just the amount of room or amount of space that that skate has in that particular area. So as we've already mentioned, the Vapor skate being a low volume skate, it means that if you were to compare the amount of space around the forefoot and instep of the Vapor skate, in this case the 1X, compared to the Nixus, The Nixus would have high volume, so it would have a lot more space in the areas, in this case around the forefoot and instep of the foot. So the next key point is going to be price. Again, there's a lot of different parts that make up this area, and I've actually shot an entirely separate video called Cheap Skates versus Expensive Skates. I'll link it down below. I go into much more detail explaining the differences to help you decide on being able to balance out the budget that you have to spend on skates versus getting skates that are going to be appropriate and be able to offer you adequate support on the ice. But when you're looking at price, the rule of thumb is the less you spend, the softer the skate's construction and the less features the skate will have, versus the more you spend, the stiffer the skate's construction and the more features that you'll gain. You have to be able to balance out your ability, your build, the amount of time that you're going to be on the ice for per week. All of these different elements will help you decide on how much you need to spend on a pair of skates. But it's definitely important, and I would strongly recommend watching the video down below in the video description. From there, it's going to be purchasing your skates online versus going into an actual physical store and buying them. I've already mentioned earlier on in the video that being able to try on the skates before you buy them is incredibly essential, but a couple of points that you could keep in mind is most stores will allow you to at least exchange a pair of skates, providing you haven't used them on the ice, they've not been sharpened, they've not been baked. So if you're buying online because you don't have the option to be able to try the skates on physically in store, make sure that you read the terms and conditions of returning products to the store that you've purchased them from, because it at least means that you can try the skates on before you bake them, have them sharpened, because once you do that, a lot of stores will not let you return them. But aside from this, wherever possible, I would always strongly recommend to go into the store, even if it means driving a few hours. It's definitely worthwhile to be able to give you the best indication of which skates are going to be the best option for yourselves. If you don't have a hockey store as an option, because I know there are a lot of countries that have rinks that play hockey that don't have hockey stores, you could perhaps use the option of trying on friend skates or just being very, very careful and looking online, but making sure that you understand the terms and conditions from the store that you're purchasing skates from. The fifth and final point is going to be other options. Although CCM and Bauer are the leaders in manufacturing hockey equipment, there are other options that are coming back like Graf, and also newer options like True. True hockey skates, which were previously VH before they were bought out, are a custom skate. Now this is an option that wasn't always available to your everyday player or players that didn't play in professional leagues in North America. What makes these skates different from the other options that we see is True take a 3D scanned image of your foot and construct the skate around the data that they get from that scan. This means if you have any misshapen parts of your foot from either injury or bone spurs or anything that you have on your foot that is irregular, which means it's impossible or very difficult to fit into a skate off of the shelf, this is where True come in with this custom skate. It's built to the exact dimensions of your foot, which means it'll fit you perfectly. Whether or not you should have a custom skate could be a completely separate video, and in fact, if you want to see that video, comment down below and let me know and we'll construct a video around that subject, but it's important to mention that that is another option. From having visited CCM's HQ in Montreal, we know that this is something that is coming to CCM in the very near future. I was actually lucky enough to have my foot scanned while I was at CCM's HQ with their 3D software, so it's something that I personally expect to see very, very soon. And of course, with Bauer already having their 3D foot scanners in many of their major retail stores around the world, I suspect it's something that we'll also see from Bauer. Having the ability to order a custom skate with ease is something that every manufacturer should at least consider, because there are a lot of conditions, a lot of reasons that players or people that skate aren't able to fit into your traditional off-the-shelf skates. So it's an option that does make sense for us to be able to see all of the manufacturers progressing into. But of course, now that we see Bauer has their scanning labs, CCM is also introducing scanning technology, as well as True already having scanning technology established. So having custom skates just makes a lot of sense right now. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you've gotten to the end, thank you very much for watching the entire video. If you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comment section. I'll get to them as quickly as I can. Hopefully this video was able to shed a little bit of light on some of the things you need to consider when you're buying a new pair of skates. We have a lot more detail and a lot more videos in the description down below, so make sure you check those out. A big thank you to all of the major manufacturers for sending us these skates to make the video possible. Big thank you to Hockey Monkey for sending us some of these skates as well. And before you go anywhere, guys, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, guys.